Citi Bank is now sounding the alarm. They are telling us exactly what's happening in crypto, and what they are telling us is very significant because, again, they are telling us what's going to hit this space in the coming months and years ahead. And right now, I think this is such an important video to listen to simply because of, how the market looks right now. Because I feel like almost everything that's positive around crypto and every single positive development happening around crypto in the last 12 plus months gets completely wiped under the rug the second that we start to see price action drop and we see a major crash. Everyone completely forgets all of the good news that has hit this space. And I think that that's a big mistake. Now, I want to start off this video with going back to what we recently addressed, which was the OCC. So the OCC said that banks may hold crypto to enable payment of blockchain network fees per Bloomberg. This might sound minor, but it's huge. Regulators are basically recognizing public blockchains as official financial plumbing and gas fees as a normal operating expense for banks. It's a quiet but clear signal that US banks are now expected to use crypto rails, not just watch from the sidelines. This got posted from Cryptos R Us, and he did update this with a new update, which did recently drop. Justin, the OCC clears US banks to hold crypto on balance sheets for on-chain operations. This move marks the biggest policy shift for the banking sector's relationship with digital assets since 2020. Banks can now hold crypto as a principal to pay for gas fees or to test crypto-related systems. The decision overturns years of restrictive guidance and opens the door for major banks to engage directly with public blockchain networks, which is exactly why we are starting to see such a big shift from the big banks. Now, we also got another big update. That update is actually from the Basel Committee. Big shout out to Bank XRP for this. We have here that the Basel Committee is rethinking its restrictive crypto rules as regulated stablecoins surge and major banks push for more practical guidance. Now, this is from a Financial Times article. I do not pay for their service, so I can't read it. However, we do have over here from Subjective Views that breaking the Basel Committee to overhaul crypto capital rules after US and UK reject the 1,250% risk weights that force banks to hold $1 capital per $1 of crypto, making it unworkable and keeping banks out of Bitcoin and stablecoins entirely. Crypto exchanges are not safe. It does not matter the size of the exchange either. Bybit, the fourth largest crypto exchange by trading volume, recorded one of the largest crypto hacks in history back in February, where $1.4 billion was stolen. And if we're looking at some of the top 10 crypto hacks in history, most of these are resulting from major exchanges. So where do we store our crypto outside of cold storage devices? Well, iTrust Capital offers premium custody accounts, which is one of the safest places to store your crypto because these are fully closed loop systems, which are designed to isolate and protect assets. And the best part about this is that if you are holding digital assets on their platform, they can only be withdrawn in USD linked to a US bank account, which means no external wallet connections can happen, which reduces the exposure to phishing or unauthorized transfers. So if you guys do want to tap into one of the safest places to lock up your crypto, you could sign up utilizing my link down in the description below right now, where you deposit $1,000 and you get a free $100 funding bonus today. Chair Eric Thaddean admits a different approach is needed amid global regulatory rifts per Financial Times. Why it matters? This could unlock billions in bank crypto adoption. Now, this combined with what the OCC just did, I feel as if this is fully aligned. I do think that a lot of the things happening around the big banks, specifically regarding crypto restrictions, all of that's easing in a very positive way. I'm very excited about this because, again, it is allowing all of the big banks to start to flip on crypto, which is exactly what we wanted to see. I mean, over the last couple weeks, we've been witnessing more and more big banks telling us, hey, we want to tap into crypto in a huge way. Some of the most recent ones we got, like, for example, this was on November 18th. This is Amina Bank has secured a license from SFC to offer institutional crypto trading and custody services, making it the first international bank to receive this approval. On top of that, we also got another update more recently back in October, which was Spain's second largest bank, BBVA, to allow retail customers to trade Bitcoin and crypto. On top of that, we also got another one, which was with SoFi Bank. This is on November 11th. They launched crypto trading, making it the first nationally chartered bank to offer consumers the ability to buy, sell, and hold crypto. And then last but not least, another big one from November, which was DBS Bank and JP Morgan's Kinexys are building a new interoperability framework for tokenized deposits. This will let clients move digital dollars between Ethereum and DBS's network like Swift for crypto money. And again, these are just a few of the headlines. I could grab, a couple more. I mean, it's happening so often now where big banks are starting to shift into the crypto landscape. And it kind of reminds me back to that video clip. And if you guys do know, it's a video clip from October 30th where JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, who has typically been very negative towards crypto, he clarified his stance that crypto is real, maintaining stablecoin, smart contracts, and blockchain will be used by JP Morgan to facilitate better transactions. Check it out.
Skeptical of crypto at one point. You're still skeptical.
I've gotten away with no damage so far. Crypto is real. If you mean blockchain, stable coins, you have a JP Morgan deposit coin, you can move stuff, smart contracts are real, all that stuff is real. It will be used by all of us to facilitate, better transactions and customer service.
It will be used by all of us to facilitate better transactions. Who's us? Well, essentially, it's the big banks. Again, at this moment where we are starting to see rules clarified around the big banks to, potentially test operations with blockchain or tap into blockchain-based transactions, it's a clear confirmation that crypto is now starting to get integrated into the banking system. This is a huge update. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, and like I have in the title of this video, yes, Citibank has officially sounded the alarm. What are they telling us? Here we have, while the crypto market panics, Citi CEO Jane Fraser cuts through the noise. A client wants to move money around the world instantly, 24/7, 365, safely and without complexity. That's tokenization. Global banks are extremely bullish on RWAs. Check it out.
Tell us why you're so excited about tokenized deposits and why maybe that is a better solution than stablecoin.
Yeah, on the payment space. Look, it comes back to what does a client need? So a client wants to move money around the world instantaneously, 24/7, 365 days a year, safely and without hassle and complexity. And that's what tokenization does. Tokenization digitizes entire markets. And we've been working in really making sure that we can serve that use case from the clients. We've been adding new markets for being able to move money instantaneously 24/7. So we just announced that we're adding another currency on. We're adding euro on today, in addition to dollar and sterling and Hong Kong and Sing dollar. We've got 24/7 clearing attached to our digital token services capability. That's added 270 banks that we can move money. So it's not just within the Citi system, but it's also to other banks that we can move instantaneously 24/7 without complexity. So I'm really excited about the movement that you can see in payments. I think tokenization best serves the client's use case.
So yeah, listen, when we think about tokenization, it is the future. We are going to see tokenization affect every single market. I don't think people are understanding how significant it is when you hear the CEO of one of the top banks in the world telling us, hey, this is happening. It's happening now. We are behind it. And we want to make sure that this becomes a reality. We've been hearing from Citi on multiple occasions. What's even crazier about this is that the CEO of Bitwise just quoted a video that got posted from Altcoin Daily. This is from Yahoo Finance. It's 1.7 trillion. Citibank says the liquidity squeeze for Bitcoin is ending. Going forward, the liquidity squeeze for Bitcoin should improve between now and year end. We have here from Hunter Horsley. The year is 2025. Who's on TV explaining the pullback in crypto and why it will turn and head higher? Citibank. What a time to be alive. That's right. This is Citi telling us that liquidity is going to improve. Listen closely to this.
In your note, Dirk, correct me if I have this wrong, we're trying to find explanations for what's going on with Bitcoin. Were you pinning that on tightening liquidity?
That is one of the explanations. So there are a couple of things going on in Bitcoin that are interesting. First, there was a flash crash in early October. And that, for Bitcoin itself, it was a 14% move down over 2 days. Maybe not that drastic, but some of the altcoins really got sold much, much harder. And after this flash crash, we saw that the flows into the Bitcoin ETFs and so forth really changed. So the flows really never recovered, and so retail was apparently somewhat shell-shocked by that day, and we saw outflows. The other thing that happened is that I think a lot of the institutional investors trade Bitcoin with a bit of a trend-following mindset, and so we broke some of the moving averages that they tend to look at, and that is also reducing the source of demand. But the third point is what you were mentioning, and that is that the liquidity, which we measure by bank reserves on the Fed balance sheet, dropped by a bit more than 500 billion. And that happened because the Treasury increased the Treasury General account at the Fed by selling a lot of T-bills. And there were two reasons for that. One is why this TGA account was so high. One is that during the government shutdown, the Treasury didn't spend as much, so that account rose mechanically on the back of that. But secondly, they did sell more T-bills than is typical. And so we are thinking going forward, the liquidity squeeze, so that explanation for the Bitcoin weakness should actually get much better, because we expect TGA to at the very least flatten out and probably decline, meaning bank reserves and liquidity should improve between now and the end, partly because of the reopening and partly because the Treasury sold so many T-bills already.
Now, again, the fact that we have Citibank on mainstream media telling us how crypto is going to improve and how the liquidity phase of crypto is also going to improve is wild to me. They're telling us that crypto is the future. They're telling us that liquidity is going to improve. On top of the fact that if we just go back to June of this year, this got posted from Subjective Views. Ryan Rugg, who is the global head of digital assets at Citi's Treasury, is telling us that their clients want a next-generation global payment system that is always on, multi-bank, multi-border liquidity, and payments. Check it out.
Do you buy into the idea that payments innovation has plateaued, that things are really broken? How do you react to that particular proposition?
So I don't know if I would say we've hit a plateau, but for the most part, especially in country, payments are pretty efficient. You start seeing, but when you start having to go cross-border and having that always-on infrastructure, that matches the speed of the internet. So like the thesis statement that our clients have given us is they want always-on, multi-bank, multi-border liquidity and payment.
Is that all?
That's it. Very, very simple. Very simple. Just those things. So, from the Citi perspective, we've kind of taken a two-prong approach, right? We're updating our legacy infrastructure. We've created products like real-time liquidity, Spring by Citi, 24/7. In addition to thinking about more of the innovative technologies like blockchain and how that could transform the industry. Because as you said, one of Citi's, strongest attributes is our network. We move $5 trillion a day. We have 19,000 clients. 85% of them are Fortune 500 that want payment and liquidity that match the speed of the internet. So how are we going to do that, right? How are we going to build that? So we've kind of taken a two-prong approach in addressing that.
So if we were to look under the hood, is blockchain technology absolutely critical to realizing this always on, anytime, anywhere, to anyone vision?
So I've been in this space for 10 years. I've worked at fintech startups, I've worked at large global system integrators, and now working at a bank. It is 100% not needed if it's just within one organization. If you're just going to set up a blockchain within your organization, will it add efficiencies? 100%, but it is not needed. You could have a database with a security wrapper. But when you start to connect disparate parties on a network that don't necessarily trust one another, you do need that. And what's unique about this technology versus others, because at Citi, before we built Citi Token Services, we evaluated multiple technologies out there, not necessarily blockchain. And some of the attributes of blockchain that were really different was, one, the programmability of it, smart contracts, which is unique to this technology. So for instance, with Citi Token Service, if my account in New York drops below 100 million, send money to Singapore automatically, instantaneously. So when we're thinking about digitizing the whole process, if it's from payments, liquidity, trade, whatever it is, automation is needed, right? So I think in certain cases, and then disparate parties, to connect multiple parties on a network, that's what this technology was developed to. Distributed, right? Distributed ledger technology, distributed across multiple parties. You need a technology through cryptography that is encrypted, that your information is safe. So I think that is unique to this technology also.
And yeah, Citi already has a digital assets tab on their website, but the fact that we have transitioned into the period where it's the big banks are now telling us about the future of crypto, they're telling us about the tech. It's crazy to see this shift in real time. But I do think that now is one of the best times to actually listen to what these institutional players are telling us, because the market is down right now. The market sucks right now, but they are telling us what's coming. Every single bank will soon be on chain. Tokenization is going to revolutionize the way that money moves around the world 24/7, 365. The future for utility-based networks that can handle the scale, it's extremely bullish. And this is like any sell-off, no matter what, no matter how big, it's not going to affect my reasoning on why I'm investing into these utility-based projects. I'm still very bullish on the future for utility-based projects, for tokenization, and we're being told exactly why we shouldn't be affected by these major sell-offs from the biggest banks in the world. And the tune has changed over the years too. Like a lot of these big banks were always skeptical about, crypto and the tech and, the future of crypto. Now they're telling us, hey, the future is crypto. That's because they realized where things are headed and they realized that the tech is extremely efficient and what can be done with the tech. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely like, subscribe,